Let's start with a bit of nonsense from the Canberra bubble. Our esteemed leaders were sitting in federal parliament again today. After the Jobs Summit Talkfest last week, it was back to the professional Talkfest today. And remember all that talk from Labor about accountability and integrity before the election? Well, it's already laughable. One minister today had to fess up after already being exposed for breaking the rules. She had shares she wasn't supposed to own as a minister, and she tried to palm them off to her husband, which is against the ministerial guidelines imposed by the Prime Minister.
The minister rang me about the circumstances. The minister is seeking to rectify that at the earliest possible opportunity, and that's the way that it should work.
My husband and I at all times fully intended to sell the shares. However, I am the first to admit that should have taken place sooner.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, hey? A couple of other ministers have been caught out in the same way. And just on that Talkfest last week, as I said, Peter Dutton was smart to stay away. It was a stunt. Nothing was achieved. And the opposition today had a go at one person who was invited and did turn up.
My question is to the Prime Minister, and I refer to the Prime Minister's captain's call to invite CFMEU boss Christy Kane to his union Talkfest. Mr Kane has previously been charged with common assault, has described John Setka as one of the most fair dinkum people in this country, and on Thursday said, if you're not at the table, you're part of the menu. Will the Prime Minister apologise for inviting this misogynist thug, or was it payback for millions in dirty CFMEU donations?
I thank the Deputy Leader of the Opposition for her question about the fact that there were trade unionists at the Jobs and Skills Summit.
All of those unionists who were there had a legitimate reason to be there, are good people. This question is about the thugs at the CFMEU that go around breaking arms, go around with all sorts of misogynistic behaviour.
Yeah, the unions are back, front and centre, even the most hardline and damaging ones. What could go wrong? Check out all those masks too on the Labor side in Parliament. What are they wearing masks for crying out loud? But, you know, I keep saying the most pressing issue in this country, the most worrying one, is where we're heading on energy and how Labor and the Greens and the Teals are going to cripple us with expensive and unreliable energy as they chase their virtue-signalling climate goals. Listen to the naivety from the Prime Minister here.
We stand by the fact that renewables are the cheapest form of new energy. And it's not really sort of rocket science. You don't really need an economics degree or a science degree to know that if the market changes from a more expensive level of energy to a cheaper level of energy, you get cheaper energy prices. I know that might be beyond those opposite, but that's exactly what the Australian people know. That's why they got solar panels on their roofs.
This is just delusional, isn't it? We've been chasing renewables for 2 decades and that's what's got us into this mess. Renewables are intermittent. We can't store the energy, which is why we're in strife. But these zealots just ignore reality. Listen to this green, teal, left, independent senator from the ACT, whose vote's going to be crucial for the government.
As we move towards more and more renewables in the grid, you add battery storage, you add pumped hydro, to have some of the cheapest, most reliable electricity in the world.
Yes, it's all so easy, isn't it? We're going to run the country on unicorns and rainbows. This is a grown man mouthing Greta Thunberg-level slogans, and his vote actually carries weight in the Senate.
We're up against, physics, atmospheric physics, and scientists are clear that we've only got so much of a carbon budget left until we push beyond 1.5, beyond 2 degrees of warming, which they say will be catastrophic.
Yes, another tipping point for the planet, apparently, and wrecking the energy grid in Australia is going to alter the global climate. What a dumb country we've become, and what a rocky road we have ahead.